Morning, welcome back to the Four Ways Restoration Project. Thanks for watching again. Today I'm going to start by reforming a rest that lives on the trailer that stops the bow from bumping up and down when you're towing it around. You can see here that there's already some damage to the bow of the boat where it's moved in transit. So what we want to do is create a little wedge shape that the bow can sit in and be pulled forwards on the winch. So what I'm going to do is use a bit of 2x4, drill some holes through so we can replace these two bolts here to hold it in place, and then at some point I'll wrap it in something soft that then the boat can be pulled nice and tight against it to stop it moving in transit. I'm going to be doing all the refurbishment works using this workshop, which is my business, Event Production Services. It's our main workshop for set build, fabrication and things like that. So in here we have got a good quality Makita compound mitre saw. We've got a pillar drill. We're very shortly going to have a planer thicknesser. That's now on order. And we've got this lovely big workbench built by one of our freelancers. So we're quite well kitted out, and for everything that I'm going to do on the boat, I think we should be fine here. The actual rest for the boat is only 150 millimeters wide. The bow is going to sit in a slot on there, and the two bolts that I've already shown you on the rest are going to be fitted through here. We'll probably have to replace those bolts because they are quite rusted in. I'll probably have to cut them down, replace them with something else. So, using my bunch of measurements from my piece of cardboard, I'm going to attempt to cut a V into this piece of wood. One thing I don't ever seem to be able to find in this workshop though is a pencil, so we'll have to make do with a Sharpie. Now, the bow of the boat, obviously, it's not as simple as just cutting a V into this piece of wood, because as well as tapering on the x-axis, it also tapers on the y, so we have this bow shape. So what we've got to try to do is replicate that in this piece of wood, which is why I've got several measurements on here. So we'll give that a go. It's going to be a bit of a challenge. I think my woodworking skills are rudimentary at best. So what we've got is a dimension where the bow of the boat sits 30 millimeters from the rest at present, which I think is where we're going to start. So in the center of the back of the piece of wood, so all that's going. So that then, as you can see, gives us this point here to that point there. So we're going to end up having to take out sort of across there and across there. So I'll just take off, I'll even that up at the end. So let's get some fences back on. Now I'm just going to take that cutter down the middle again. You can just break out those bits. Right, that is starting to look a little more like we need it to. Let's into the vise. Well, it's a shame that's splintered there and I've gone a bit deep there, because otherwise, not far off what I need to achieve. Ultimately, it's going to end up being covered in something soft. We've got some old exhibition carpet here that we might use, although my concern with that is obviously it's going to be out in the rain. We don't really want to be, it'll just go a bit mouldy and horrible. So I need to look for something maybe synthetic or faux leather or something like that, but something padded that can protect the front of the boat when it's pulled nice and tightly into this V. Well, here we are back out at Four Ways. So the point of this is to sit up and under here and just hold the bow in place. And I would say, I'm far from an expert at this, but once that's fitted onto there and we've bolted it through, I think that'll make a pretty good support. Okay, the hole spacings are 100mm. I suspect, given the age of the boat, they're actually 4-inch, but we'll call it 100mm. The bolts that are going through at the moment look like they're about M6 or 1/4 inch. What I'll end up doing, because they're so rusted up, is I'm going to have to grind the tops off and replace them. So the holes in the boat trailer that these bolts are going through, although it's like about a 6mm bolt going through there, the hole's much larger and it's got a washer. So what I'm going to do is 100mm centres, put through, I think this is an 8mm bit first, check the centres, and then I'm going to put through this 12mm bit afterwards, which will then just give me plenty of capacity for whatever bolt, and if I'm slightly off, it gives me a little bit of wiggle room. Here you get to see, I've got a huge collection of these lovely old DeWalt tools. They really are showing their wear a bit now. I've had some, this drill I've had probably getting on for 10 years. The batteries are getting a bit tired. These are actually aftermarket batteries that I bought more recently, but I've got such a collection of them I can't really justify as my personal toolkit replacing them with newer ones. And there we go, all the way through. So, a couple of holes. What I will do next is take my grinder, again, nice ancient DeWalt grinder, take that outside, cut off the bolts through the chassis of the trailer so that then I can offer this up properly. What we're going to do here is just take off the ends of the existing bolts just on the boat here, so that then we can offer up the new rest and just use the existing bolts to loosely hold it in place and check out how it goes. I've got a clamp here so that when we're cutting through these bolts they don't move around too much. So let's take them off. we are. Two bolts shortened. Take those out, a little bit warm. Here's our dummy rest, or our new rest. So that will end up mounted here. Now obviously with the boat on the trailer, it's not the easiest of things to get into place, but I can see the hole is there. There we go. So that's the general idea. That's going to get, now I'm going to take that and paint it black. Then I'll get some material and make it a bit softer. And then when the boat is pulled up onto the trailer, it'll just sit nicely in there, and that just will help make the whole thing a lot more stable. So I think that's where we're going to get to today. Thanks for watching. Next time you join me, I'll probably have that ready to fit, and we'll have a look at the next bit of the trailer, which is going to be taking off these stays under here and rejigging them, because at the moment they don't really, one side touches the boat but the other doesn't, so it wobbles. And the same with these rollers under here that need a bit of adjustment. But as you can see, there's a bit of rust to deal with under there as well. Thanks for watching.